if you're like me and you like to make sure your streams are accessible to all, you do the best that you can to make sure they're inclusive. This includes our friends who need or just prefer captions. I'm going to walk you through how to add captions to your streams using WebCaptioner. I absolutely love this application because it allows me to have control over the captions and can caption 40 different languages and dialects. Let's get those captions rolling. You're going to need the following things to get started. You're going to want to download the Chrome browser, have a streaming software like OBS or Streamlabs, and a mic hooked up to your PC. We're going to be using the web application called WebCaptioner. Links for all of these items are in the description below. Let's get started by setting up our WebCaptioner application. In your Chrome browser, go to www.webcaptioner.com. And while you're in the browser, make sure to go to twitch.tv/PhoenixBell to give me a huge follow so you can catch me using these captions live. Once you've given me that follow, go ahead and navigate back to WebCaptioner and select Start Captioning. This won't immediately start capturing your voice, but it'll put us in a position to create an account. In the bottom right, select the person icon. Then select the method that you'd like to use for signing into this application. You can use this web app without an account, but we want to create one so that our presets will be saved every time we use this application. Go ahead and pause the video here and come back when you're ready. Once you've created your account or signed in, select the icon in the bottom right again that should now be filled in with an image associated to your account. Then select Settings. In the left panel, you'll notice several tabs. For this video, we'll only be focusing on General, Appearance, Language, and Word Replacements. First, select General. Under this tab, you can do several things that will affect how your captions are generated. You can censor out profane language if you'd like by toggling this feature on. This can be great if you want to bleep yourself out on stream, but also want it reflected in the captions that you removed the words. My favorite part about this is that you can remove words that help protect your identity. Usually if I'm doxxed on stream, I just ignore it, and my mods are quick to remove the chat. But in a live stream, you can't just stop everything to remove the captions. The volume meter is a personal preference. I typically don't watch this, but I have it set to high because my mic input for this software is often low. You can choose between large or small navigation buttons within the application, but this is also a personal preference and won't have any effect on how the application performs. You'll want at least 2 line breaks to signify the end of a thought or a breath. This will become important later on when adding this source to our streaming software. Our last option under the General tab is to have our captioning automatically start on page load. This is an amazing feature if you have key bindings through Stream Deck or a similar utility. You can have this feature on or off, and if you have it off and you want it to automatically start through a key binding, you can use the auto start URL, which is linked in the description below. Comment below if you would like a more in-depth tutorial on how to add this to your Stream Deck bindings. Next, select Appearance. In this tab, we're going to be doing things that make sure our captions appear on the stream correctly. Before jumping in, make sure you think about the audience and readability. The point of captions is to make the video accessible. For font family, I like to use Roboto. This is the font that Google uses for subtitles, so it's recognizable. For text size, I set this to 4. The EM to the right of here just means that the font size in a web setting, and for our purposes, we don't need to worry about this. Line height is going to dictate how close the lines are together, and the same with letter spacing. For capitalization, I like to keep all of the letters uppercase. First letter of each word sounds like you're trying to emphasize each word or you're texting in the early 2000s. And for proper nouns and start of sentences, this is going to require you to say period or question mark at the end of each sentence, which just makes me sound aggressive. Period. For alignment, I like to stick to full for both horizontal and vertical alignment. This will make it easier for you to set up in your stream later. Padding will change the amount of space around the outer area of the text. The larger this number is, the more space there is around the edges. I like to keep this at 0.25. For the background, we're going to select the field and then in the RGB fields, enter 0, 255, and 64 respectively. This will give us a green background that we can use the chroma key filter in our OBS software. Leave the opacity at 100%. If you're like me and don't plan on adding a background behind the text of your stream, you may want to add a shadow to partially outline the characters, making them more readable on screen. For the font, you can mess with the opacity to to make sure it looks best for your setup. Leave blur at 0 and don't change the X and Y positioning. Next, let's go to the Language tab. WebCaptioner can recognize 40 different languages and dialects, so you can be pretty specific. I'm speaking and using a vernacular from the US, so I select English, United States. The final tab is for word replacements. This is where you can get specific about what you want to show up. This can be super helpful if your community has an inside joke or you're just trying to have a secret word game played. It's up to you, and you can completely customize this. Before we continue, make sure to like and subscribe so we can make sure more people are adding accessible options to their live streams. Now you're ready to set up your source and your OBS software. I've done this in both OBS Studio and Streamlabs without issue. First, you'll want to open up WebCaptioner in your Chrome browser and select Start Captioning. If you don't have auto captioning enabled, you'll need to select Start Captioning again in the bottom right. Next, select your profile icon in the bottom right and select New Window. It's the icon in the middle. This will give you a window that you will want to capture in your OBS software. Navigating back to your software, on the scene that you want to add the captions, add a new window caption under your sources. You can title it whatever works best for you. In the window dropdown, select Captions Windowed. Set the capture method to automatic and change the window match priority to window title must match. This will keep your OBS software from accidentally capturing a wrong window. Deselect capture cursor and then select OK. The captions should now appear on your scene with a green background that we set earlier. So go ahead and give it a try by speaking into your mic and make sure it's working. Now that you've added your source to the scene, it is time to format and size. In your source panel, right-click the caption source. From this menu, select Filters. Select the plus icon in the bottom left of the filters and select Chroma Key. Just a quick note here, color key is for video inputs like from a camera, but when capturing digital media, it's best to use Chroma Key. The settings I use are color key type, green, similarity 400, smoothness 80, key color spill reduction 100, opacity 100, and contrast, brightness, and gamma set to 0. Then select Close. Your caption should be displayed with the green background removed. Your final step is to shape the captions to your stream layout. I like to put my captions towards the bottom left of the screen. For the games I play, this gets them out of the way, but are still visible in the normal location. Crop the source by holding the Alt key and dragging the top of the box down to where only 2 lines display. This will clear the field of text when you stop talking after 2 seconds, removing the text from your stream. At this point, your captions are set up and ready to go for your live streams. Just make sure to open that WebCaptioner web app every single time you stream and ensure that the Captions Windowed is open. If you're still having issues, here are a couple things that I often run into. If WebCaptioner isn't picking up your mic, go into the settings in your Chrome browser and select Privacy and Security. Then select Site Settings. Under Permissions, select Microphone. In the dropdown, make sure that your mic is selected or the output of the mic is selected if you are using a mixer like Elgato's Wave software. If your captions are captioning but not displaying on stream, check to make sure that you didn't minimize the Captions Windowed. Chrome window. This window needs to be open, but it can be nested behind other windows. And just like that, you now have captions on your live streams through either Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. If you have any questions, make sure to join our Discord community. We're a great group of gamers and streamers alike, and we are absolutely available to help you. Link in the description below. And until next time, stay happy and stay healthy.